Hi, my name is Mark McGrain. I'm the Council Commissioner. I'd like to thank you for joining us today for our webinar on Scoutbook for the Scoutmaster for using the Merit Badge Counselor list and blue cards. And also later on, we'll be covering for the Merit Badge Counselor and how they end up using Scoutbook for this. With us today is Brian Spencer. Um, who's experienced with Scoutbook, and he will be running our presentation for the Scoutmasters on here. Uh, Again, as a reminder for everybody, your microphones are muted during this time. There is also, I'm sorry, there are no microphones and your video is off. There's really no point for me to be looking at all your smiling faces on here. If you do have a question, please, I'd suggest that you add it into the chat room and I will bring it up as we can. And if it is going to be a longer question, just request to have your microphone turned on. Otherwise, we just can't manage having a bunch of microphones put on. We are going to record this presentation and put it up on the council website as we've done with all of our other presentations tonight. So to get things started, Brian, I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Mark. I'm glad to be here. All right. So if everyone's familiar with logging into Scoutbook, your first step is going to be going into your dashboard. All right. And for me, I have a young scout named Emily who is now interested in taking the first aid merit badge. So one of the first things I need to do is to figure out who our first aid merit badge counselors are. So right now I'm in our troop page here. So at the bottom of our troop page, I can scroll down to the merit badge counselor list. So this will be a place where I can go to find merit badge counselors in my area. I can search for all badges, but what's really handy is that you can narrow it down to just the merit badge you're looking for, because who would want to search through everybody? So Emily wants to take the first aid merit badge, so I will scroll down to first aid. All right, and then I can select a relative distance from my zip code, and Scoutbook knows where I live, so it automatically populated in my zip code here. And Emily's new to scouting, and I think there's quite a few merit badge counselors in my area, so I'm just going to stick with like 10 miles. I think that is fine for my case here. And then, I really don't want to look at merit badge counselors who have already posted that they're too busy to work with additional scouts, so I'm just going to leave it for currently available merit badge counselors. So that radio button there is selected for that. And then I'll just go down here to search. All right, and as you can see in my area, there's quite a few merit badge counselors here who are, ready and available to work with other scouts. And, I think Mark McGrain would probably be a great merit badge counselor for Emily. So I will take down his contact information and provide that to the scout. And then I'll keep Michelle Harpster also in my back pocket, because I know she's a great first aid merit badge counselor as well. So if it turns out Mark is too busy, or Mark is not a good fit for Emily, but I'm pretty sure he is, I'll have Michelle here in my back pocket as well. So I've
Brian,
go ahead.
correct me if I'm wrong. This is the only spot that they'd really be able to get the contact information, the phone number and email for that counselor, so that you could share it with that scout for them to do their, lack of a better term, their job interview of the merit badge counselors.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So once I have this information, I can hand it over to Emily so that she can contact Mark and make sure that he's available and the right fit. All right. And so I'm going to go back back to the troop page, I guess would be, all right. And so the next thing I need to do is, I need to provide access to the merit badge itself for Emily. So I'm going to need to go into Emily's advancement record. All right, so here I am in Emily's page, and I'm going to go down to Emily's advancement. And as Scoutmasters, I'm sure that you're all familiar with this part. Hopefully you know that once you get in here, you can add merit badges in here. All right, so I'm down here at the bottom at Start a Merit Badge. Okay, and so this is giving us some great reference information about blue cards. However, as you're all aware, blue cards may not be an option if you're dealing with merit badge counselors who are a little bit further away. So that's why we're going over this, how to do all this in Scoutbook. Okay, so I'm going to click the Start Merit Badge. And then again, I can search for that merit badge. All right. So at this point, here are the merit badge requirements. And so I would want to go in here and I would want to put in today's date, providing, that initial unit leader approval as the Scoutmaster for Emily. So I could put in today's date, save that. All right. And so then the next step is, making sure that Mark was a good fit for Emily. And so Emily's come back to me and said, yes, I would like to work with Mark McGrain as my merit badge counselor. So I'm going to go here and invite Mark as the merit badge counselor to work with Emily on first aid. All right.
So, Brian, as you're waiting for the next step there, we had a question about, does the system give the designation if the merit badge counselor is willing to work with the troop or anyone? So I'm going to kind of jump in on the answer of that. Later on, when we get into the session for the merit badge counselors, they can change their designation to, I'm only willing to teach in the troop. I'm willing to teach in a district, multiple districts. I'm willing to teach council-wide. I'm willing to teach worldwide. So it really is based on what the merit badge counselor has put in. By default, when the district puts the list in, it will default to what they told us initially. So if they said they were willing to be troop only, then only that troop will be able to see them. If they said, I'm willing to teach in Indian Waters District, then only units in Indian Waters District will be able to see that. So it will only show up based on what the merit badge counselor initially said, and then they can go in and change this at any time they want.
Yeah, so that was a great question. Thanks for covering that. So if you remember back to when I was on that list of merit badge counselors, it did say underneath it, for Mark, I think it said for Indian Waters District. So yeah, that was a great question. Thank you for asking that. All right. So just to recap, I have gone to the invite merit badge counselor section. All right. And so currently what we're looking at is Emily's current connection. She has 11 connections already, through her connections in the troop. All right. Now let's say, for example, that Mark McGrain was not already connected to Emily. I would need to go to this add button. All right. And now I can search for existing adult merit badge counselors who are already registered in Scoutbook, and of course they would be because I found them in the list. So I think Mark is not going to show up though. Mark, are you with a C or a K? I can't remember.
With a C.
Okay. So I believe because you are already a connection. Yeah, I tried this earlier. So I'm going to throw my wife under the bus on this one here. Let me just search for her so you see how the search function works. Okay. And so, yep, there's my wife. She pops up, and then I can, click that to change the connection with between between Emily and Lori to be merit badge counselor. So I would just check that there, and then verify these other settings as well. Lori could view Emily's profile, and then down here, this will send an email to Lori asking her to connect with Emily on Scoutbook, and just kind of provides her this kind of canned statement. But you are welcome to add in additional information here. And then of course you would always want to identify that it's from you. All right, and then you would send that invitation off, okay? And so you can add in plenty more information to make sure that they have everything they need, all right? So, and then of course I would click that invite, but I don't want to really do that because in truth, I really want Mark McGrain to be Emily's merit badge counselor for this. So I'm gonna cancel this, and then I'm just gonna back up. So in a lot of your cases, you'll have people who are already connected to your scouts who are going to be the merit badge counselors. And in that case, this is the case that we have today. So it's right here, ready to go. Here's Mark. Okay. But again, we'll need to change his type of connection. He's connected as a parent guardian, but now we need to connect him as the merit badge counselor. All right. And so we're going to give him the ability to approve the first aid merit badge. Okay. And then we're just going to update it. All
And
right.
in that same area, it's only going to list merit badges that counselor is already approved for. So when you're seeing the screen, it just listed me down for first aid. It's because that's all I'm down for. If I had 6 merit badges, it would list the 6, and then Brian would have had to choose which one of those I was actually teaching.
Okay. So, a few things. So now Mark and Emily are set up via a connection so that they can work together, and that will give Mark the ability to sign off on Emily's requirements in the first aid merit badge. All right. So some things to think about. Well, I see we have some chat going on. Mark, do we have questions?
So
Might
I
be
got
good.
one more. I was just going to get in there. So the question came up when we were talking about the linked adult. So, and what it was is if that linked adult, so let's say Jennifer, her mom, if Jennifer wasn't a merit badge counselor, you couldn't go in and add a merit badge for that because it's not an option on there. So, just out of curiosity, Brian, are all those adults in as merit badge counselors, or do you have one that's not a merit badge counselor in there? I don't think Jennifer's down as a merit badge counselor, but I'm not sure if you can actually try clicking on Jennifer, see if it'll let you do a one while she's still pending.
Okay.
Yeah, see, go ahead, click on merit badge and see if anything shows up. And nothing is there because Jennifer isn't approved as a merit badge counselor for anything.
Okay.
So yes, if they're not on the list for Scoutbook that the council has uploaded, they're not going to show up. And same thing, nobody can go in and add merit badge counselors. For those that have been using Scoutbook for a very long time, there was the earlier features where you could add the merit badge counselors of your unit to use the features. But since the advancement committee has been uploading their approved merit badge counselors, it won't let you upload anybody. Okay, thank you, Brian.
Oh, sure, no problem.
Great question.
All right. Any other questions that we should cover?
So as they're going through, and I'm sure this is kind of coming up next. So let's say Emily has finished with her merit badge counselor. What's the next step for you as a Scoutmaster?
So the next thing that I would want to do, let me go back to Emily here. All right. So let's say that Emily has finished up first aid, and Mark and Emily don't need that merit badge counselor connection anymore. All right. And so this is particularly important when you talk about, I know a lot of people are doing virtual merit badges with people who are, out of the area and things like that. So really, we want to sever that connection between these, really strangers. And it's not so important when dad's your merit badge counselor, but when somebody across the country is your merit badge counselor, we certainly want to sever that connection once it's complete. So we are going to go back to Emily's connections, okay? And so we'll see that Mark will be listed here. But again, this could be Susie Homemaker from California that's teaching, any merit badge, right? All right, and so we're going to remove that connection. Okay, and then we're just going to update it, and that will save the connection change, right? And so if there was no other relationship, then that connection would disappear. So that merit badge counselor should no longer be on the list here. All right, Mark, I'm seeing a little more chat. Do we have some questions?
I am. There are, I guess, one question, one comment. One was, can merit badge counselors put age limits or stipulations for the scouts they're willing to work with? So I guess as a reminder, this is a focus on the use of Scoutbook in this program. Merit badge counselor rules still apply. That's information that's covered during the merit badge counselor orientation, which is available online, and also in the guide to advancement and things that are covered with their advancement chairs. So we'll want to keep that area in there. And the next one, I'm going to skip the comment and I'll come back to the comment. There was another question. Would you break the link before you approve the merit badge counselor's completion? You absolutely can. Um, and I'll jump in on this one. The reason that you would break the link is if the link won't matter. They've already checked the information off, which we'll cover in the next class. But what can happen here is if I was Emily's merit badge counselor for part of the work and I didn't finish it for whatever reason, partials happen. I'm no longer able to complete that merit badge with her. The information that is checked off is still there, but we would want to sever my connection. And then Brian would make the connection with Emily with the next first aid merit badge counselor. And then that merit badge counselor would be able to continue on with the work that's there or start from fresh. So it doesn't matter at what stage you break the link. You just want to make sure you do remember to break the link. It has to be broken by somebody on one end or the other. And then the comment that came up with FYI, new merit badge counselors are not being processed during the social distancing. So until the Scout Shop is open again, we won't be able to add merit badge counselors, even though they have been approved by their district advancement committee. So this is falling in with all the applications. We are working on getting through some of these restrictions, which is mainly the applications that are being sent in and how we can process them through that. So in the moment we are on that, but we are working at ways to get all that paperwork handled and processed. So the current list on Scoutbook right now is everybody that was up there. I do believe the advancement committee is working on making the current Scoutbook list ones that are only willing to work virtually to kind of cut down on everyone's frustration of making phone calls. Brian, anything else or anything you'd like to add or any other questions coming in?
Well, Mark, I'm certainly set with the material I intended to cover, but I'm happy to stay on for a few minutes and answer questions.
Sure. We'll give everybody a few more minutes. And in the end, you do have a few more minutes because we did put out there that the class for the merit badge counselors would start at 6:30. So we will not be starting that session until then. Oh yes, does the Scoutmaster have to do the final approval of the merit badge is complete? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, can you go in and show where that would be on? It should still show up even though we're not there yet.
Yep. I would be happy to show that. So again, you're going to go back into Emily's advancement. Okay, and so then you're going to open up the merit badge. And then, everything here would be completed. So you'd want to click on percent complete here. And then you would click on the leader approved so that the check mark goes in the box. And then, again, today's date. And then, of course, you would save.
And then, of course, I'm just going to add on while you had that screen up right there. If all the requirements were checked off, you wouldn't have the percent complete. That would kind of add on to the screen on there. But the important part with this, excuse me, is that approved. So this was kind of an issue we had during summer camp when we were using Scoutbook there. People came back as like, hey, they did these merit badges and we don't see it in the record. And it's because a Scoutmaster has to do the final sign off, just like they do with their actual blue card. So that was that. But please do not check the awarded. When you go through and work on this advancement, approved lets it show up on the purchase order so that your advancement share or whoever purchases advancement, that's what makes it show up on the advancement order form. Awarded is really used when you have handed that scout that merit badge. Then you click it as awarded and it disappears from your purchase orders and things like that. So there is a difference between leader approved and awarded. And of course, that percent complete, when you're knocking off the entire percentage, that would be if you are using a blue card. So the scout comes back with a blue card and you want to just be able to make sure it's tracked this way. You could just go in with the percent complete and the date that it was there. So then the question came in, can a Scoutmaster back out an approval that was done in error? Yes, you can go in and change out the dates. Again, once you've done awarded, it makes it a little bit harder. If you've checked it all off and did leader approved, you can go back in and uncheck it and unsave that information and then save it once you've unchecked it and it will take it off. So yes, you can do it. It's another extra step if you've already done an award of it as well, because then it looks like it was given and awarded. The only time you'll really run into issues on this one is if you also did rank that was required based on that thing. So, first aid, camping, swimming, you have some of these ranks that are required as part of advancement. If you did one of those and then done advancement, much harder to do that. So you just really want to watch what you're doing and work with caution as you're putting stuff in, treat them as the actual records that they are. Okay. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Okay. We'll give it a few minutes here for more typing to be done or a hand raising. Okay, Brian, I'd like to thank you for joining us and helping us out on this one. Greatly appreciate it. Let's see. I'll get to that one. I see a question here. Give me just a second. I'll get to that one. Um, Great. Again, I greatly appreciate this. This will be recorded and posted on up. For anyone who didn't have a question for right now, you can go ahead and get a cup of coffee, stretch your legs. We will start up. This connection will stay on, but we will start up with the merit badge counselor portion at 6:30. And let's see here. The question came in. I have a scout that has 2 entries, which could cause some issue with merit badge. Mary, let's see. Give me a second. I'm going to turn on your mic so you can better explain that one to me. Okay, Mary. Now you got to turn your mic on for me to turn yours on. Okay, Mary. What? Can you explain it to me a little
There
bit
we
more?
go. I think you could hear me now.
I can't hear
Um,
you.
I've got a Scout that has two entries. So there's two, say, Anthony V's. One the system put in, and one was in there long before, but I can't delete either of them.
Okay. Oh, the
And so
scout is showing up twice.
if the merit badge counselor went in and approved it on the wrong one, it just could cause some problems.
Okay.
How do I get it to where we're just down to one entry for the Scout? I've tried multiple different things to remove the extra, and it hasn't worked.
Okay. So, this might be a better conversation offline, but the most basic fix is going to be, for whatever reason that scout is being listed twice, is there's a help section on Scoutbook, and you'll have to send them the email and as much data about the two different entries. So if they're listing two different ID numbers, you'd want to send them the two ID numbers and tell them which one is the correct scout, and you can confirm that ID number in the member manager under my.scouting. As far as the merit badge counselor getting to the wrong one, there's only two ways for a merit badge counselor to connect to the scout. One is the connection that you have made to the merit badge counselor, so it would be important for you to make the right connection. And the other one would be that if you gave the merit badge counselor or the scout gave them their ID number off their membership card, that would be the other way that they could do that. So a merit badge counselor can't. It's the protection to make sure they can't connect to the wrong scout accidentally. So that should at least prevent that. But we really do want to get the second, Mark McGrain off the roster of two Mark McGrains. And the only way to do that is going to be a contact, just the email through Scoutbook, and they're usually very quick about getting that fixed. Okay. Okay. I guess I got that. And there. Okay. Okay. All right. I am going to be here still. So if anyone has any questions, again, in about 3 more minutes, we will get the next one started up. Okay, I'd like to thank everybody for either joining us again or staying with us for our class on the Merit Badge Counselor program using Scoutbook. So now you should be seeing my name's Mark McGrain for those who weren't here before. I'm the Council Commissioner, and we're here to talk about this. So what you should be seeing is if you are a Merit Badge Counselor in any portion of the program, then you at one point once we started using Scoutbook and we uploaded our merit badge counselor list to Scoutbook, you would have gotten an invite to Scoutbook saying that an account was created for you. Um, and through there, you'd be able to log into Scoutbook. And when you first go to log in at Scoutbook, and this is just a basic internet search, just look for Scoutbook. When you go to log in, it would just be the forgot password section. The username would have been emailed to you, or you could use the forgot username as well in case for some reason the username wasn't part of the email, and it will generate it based on the email that it sent you. So we're going to go over some of these features that are for the merit badge counselor, along with how we go through and approve our merit badges. So I'm going to have a few screen areas that you're not going to have just because of different registrations that I had. So to begin with, when we first log in, we kind of wind up on this area. So the dashboards, My Scouting homepage, which will let us get into our training and a few other features, chat room areas, references and help. And there are some great tools in here as well. So we start right off with the dashboard. Now, again, more features on here than what you'll generally see. So if we go to My Account, so in the account, this is where, if you need to change your email, change up your password to security. The SSO profile is what we call single sign-on. So at some point you would have taken youth protection training. And if you did that in a classroom, great. If you did it online through the My.Scouting, if this was a while back, you would have had a My.Scouting account and you would have had now a Scoutbook account. So this is kind of merging those two accounts together. That's what they've gone through in there. So I would encourage, if you haven't done this, you've been here for a little bit, that you would go in to do this single sign-on. Adding your profile will allow you to change your address, phone number, things like that. Upload a photo is just like that. When we come down to My Positions, so we click on here. If you are registered anywhere else in the council, these positions in a unit, these positions will show up here. The only district position that shows up is Merit Badge Counselor. No other district positions show up in here. This is unit-based software. So if I go into Merit Badge Counselor, so this is where I can set some information. I can say whether I'm available or busy. And there's some great little help icons off to the side here. So when we go in these, life gets busy. If you want people to know that you're not available, then this is a great time to set this. And availability is really what you say it is, whether you're busy because you've got enough scouts, or maybe you're on vacation, workload's a little heavy. Um, that's what this area is for. As far as listing preference, your initial listing is going to be how you registered as a merit badge counselor. When you filled out the paperwork, um, this is where this is going to show up. Maybe you registered that you were only willing to teach to the unit. Maybe this is where you said you were only going to teach in a district. Those have been the primary choices during signing up a merit badge counselor. But in here, you'll see that you'll be able to change that setting to what you want. You can have not listed for right now, which again is you're not showing up anywhere. A unit list, it will just be the unit that you set up for. District list is you're only willing to teach at district level. Council list is you're willing to teach anywhere in the council, and any council worldwide, meaning that you're willing to teach kids from California to New York. You will show up on those lists. If you're selecting on district list, then you are seeing the districts that are available in here, and you can choose one, or you can choose more. You can choose all of them if you want, but then again, if you're doing that, you might as well select council. If we select a unit, then you will be able to put in what unit you're going to do, and you can see how this is listing. It's the title of the unit, which is troop, or it's going to be crew, and their actual number, and then B for a boy troop, G for a girl troop. So we're gonna go back to district list. This is the area of the merit badges that you are approved to teach. You'll notice that it shows them, but this is grayed out. We can't touch this at all. This is what was approved by the district merit badge counselor, not by us. You can't add to it. You can't subtract from it. This is only things that if you want to make changes, you need to make changes through your district advancement chair. The date started is sort of relative. It's when it's there. You can end your time at this anytime if you want to throw in some notes. The first time in, you will need to do the I agree to marry a merit badge counselor, or anytime you kind of make a change to this system. If you're not making a change, you can just cancel, if you're just kind of reviewing your settings. But if you are making changes, click on the I agree and then update. So that is dealing with the settings that you have available to you as a merit badge counselor. So let's get back to our home. I'm a merit badge counselor, and I've had, let me see, I got a question. I've had merit badge counselor only want to be unit only by merit badge. I'm going to assume what you mean is they want one merit badge. Let me actually find Debbie here, and I'm going to turn that on because I think I understand, but okay, Debbie, go ahead. I've unmuted you. So are you saying that they may have more than one merit badge, but only one merit badge they want to do to one unit and nobody else?
Correct, right. It's very specialized and they just don't want to open it up to that many people.
Okay.
To the district, so just their own troop.
For every merit badge they're registered for, or just that one?
Just that one.
No. So okay. So no, they can't. They can they can say for themselves that they're either going to teach unit level for all, show up on the unit list for all of them or none of them. Easy thing is though, is when somebody contacts them for that one merit badge, they could always just say, no, thank you, not available to do it at this time. But yeah, there is no way for us to for them to personalize the merit badges on Scoutbook. Okay. So now we have a scout we're going to be teaching merit badge with. So in here, how do we find that scout? So back at the home where we logged in, my dashboard. And then this is going to be in my account. And then all the way down here in my account, we have my connections. So if we look at the my connections one, and then obviously I've got some other connections because I am also a den leader in Scouts. But you'll see here's Emily McGrain. Now I have full control because I am her parent, which is why we're using her for this example. But there we go, approved first aid merit badge. This is the connection that now shows up saying I have this, that I am a merit badge counselor for this person. Excuse me. The other thing, another way to end the connection. So if the Scoutmaster forgot to end the connection when we were done, this X right over here, if I click on it, I can disconnect from this person as well. So as a merit badge counselor, when I am done, I don't need the connection going, so I will end it myself. Brian, I'm unable to change from district council. Getting an error message says I must choose at least one merit badge. Well, we're going to turn Brian on because maybe I was mistaken about something, which does happen. All right, Brian, unmute yourself. Okay, what do you got going on, buddy?
Hey, Mark. So I had district lists selected, so I wanted to change it to council to be more available. And so I changed it to council and then went down. I clicked the I agree to be a merit badge counselor and then went down to update, but it's highlighting the section of merit badges that I have in yellow, and it tells me that I must select at least one merit badge, but there's no option to select anything. It's all, as you said, it's kind of grayed out.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to look into that further because I was bouncing between the both of them. Okay, I thought you were going to say that you can set it for each one. I thought I was going to learn something new on that one. Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. No problem.
Okay, so we're going to come into Emily here. Now realize they could have a bunch on here. And Peter is throwing in choose all of the districts and update. That worked for him. So the other thing is there is an extension if you're using Firefox or Chrome. It's easier just to look for the Scoutbook extension. If you are going to be teaching multiple scouts in Scoutbook itself, without making an alteration, you have to do each scout, each merit badge. Same thing as a Scoutmaster, you have to sign up each scout to each merit badge. However, if you put the extension on, which was an interface created by volunteers, it makes a few changes to Scoutbook. One of them being that as a merit badge counselor, you can select, if you've got 4 kids taking your merit badge, you can update all the progress that they have done, all 4 kids at a time, as opposed to doing the first one, doing the second one, doing the third one. Same thing as a Scoutmaster, you can sign up multiple kids to the same merit badge with the same counselor. So it's a good extension, and it has other features with it. However, realize the extension is not put out by the national office who maintains and owns the Scoutbook software. It was something that was developed by volunteers. I've used it, many others have used it. It works well, but realize that disclaimer. All right, so we're going to come down here to Emily a little bit. All of these will not show up for you. They show up for me because, again, we already talked about I'm Emily's parent. So we hit into the advancement. Okay, there is the first aid right down there, and it says that it has, this is the first aid, the current version, and then right down here at the bottom, unit leader signature, Brian Spencer, and then assigned counselor, me. So there was our initial sign off, and of course we had to have that because that was what created the initial hook on, just like on a regular blue card. So I am just clicking on that to bring it up. Now, we can see that it does have some information. It talks about the quick entry toolbar, and it talks about we're the only one approved to do anything on their merit badge with this. Okay, and use the comment sections below to leave notes to Emily or other scout leaders. So there is, as Brian showed us earlier, there is the initial signature added in. We could print blue cards if we need it. If I want to just kind of knock through this line, I've done a lot of the work, and I'm not checking off these individual things. We can just do the percent complete, and this is 100% complete. It is not going to let it save it as like a 50. If you're choosing percent complete, it really is 100%. Let me go back to that. You will notice when the Scoutmaster was up, his had leader approved and awarded. Mine only says counselor approved. This is the spot where the merit badge counselor would sign off on the blue card. And the question just came in. Can merit badge requirements change in Scoutbook after a scout has started to work? They absolutely can. Merit badge requirements change all the time, and they impact our scouts. However, when you start the merit badge requirements is the requirements that you are expected to finish on. You will note right up here at the top, it shows the different changes to the merit badge requirements. And it's up to you to select which one you were working with. So if this is somebody who's been working on it for a while, I just selected 2015. It changed the merit badge requirements based on what the 2015 were. We are on the most current version of it. She's brand new, just starting this merit badge. This wasn't anything that was a partial. She's been working on it for a while. So we're in the 2019, 2020 requirements. So yes, absolutely. And that is true for anyone working in other parts of the program. That's true wherever. When you start in Cub Scouts, Weeblos, we ran into that transition just a little while ago where our Weeblos and Weeblos 2 or Arrow of Lights, depending on what the unit called them, there was a change in rank requirements. Same thing here. You had to choose the year that it was working on. Okay, so how do we figure out which ones they were working on or they're done? So you can see right when I cover over the empty box, I put a little click on it. Then I can type in the day or I can select the day. And this one was counselor approved. I can put any notes that I want on here, and I can attach a picture if I want to. Now, you will see all of these people have connections on Emily McGrain, which means all of these people, which there's a good amount of adults on there, can see any of the comments that Emily McGrain and I make back and forth using Scoutbook. So I can see them, she can see mine, she can send me pictures just like this. She can post me a note to look at, but more importantly, everybody can see it. There is no private communication inside of Scoutbook. All right, so I have that one in there. We're going to click save. Okay, you can see that now this is starting to show that it's partially being worked on. We're up to 3%. This one is checked off as being done. When you're looking at something like, oh, that's do all of those. So you can't, this is just here for visual purpose. You cannot just check on like this number 2. It requires A, B, C. And this is what this is talking about. So I can knock off A, and then the date that that's going to be, whole thing still works apply. So I'm just not going to bring us right back through that one here. So A, B, C, once they're done, that will fill in that one. Again, that's just for visual. Same thing, you'll run into, if it has, do 2 out of the 4. Again, you need to select at least 2 before the outer one, the actual numbered requirement, will fill in. So that works out well. And if you look down at the bottom, here is a legend for it. So it has things that aren't started. The green box is completed. Blue is leader approved and recorded. And the yellow is awarded. These are the exact same things that this is coming from. And then as we get down towards the bottom, it will notepads and comments about Emily's first aid merit badge. This will just start showing the comments that are showing up. So again, being right in this section, we can keep track of what's going on. Same thing, Emily can go into Scoutbook with her parents, or scouts can have a Scoutbook account, and they can go in under their first aid merit badge. That's where they do their stuff for, because as a merit badge counselor, I can only see the comments and pictures under the first aid merit badge. Now, if whatever you're working on happens to have video with it, that will not upload. It will only upload pictures, but we'll talk about that in a second. All right, so Emily and I are working on this merit badge. For whatever reason, we can't finish this merit badge. I end the connection. The Scoutmaster comes and makes a new connection with our next first aid merit badge counselor. They come in, and as any merit badge counselor, they can either accept the partial or they can not accept the partial. As you can see, I can end my connection and this one will still be sitting here because it's what we finished. That's just like the signature on the blue card showing we finished that one thing. However, we can go back in and uncheck that approval, take out that date, hit save. Ugh. And take out that merit badge. I will stress that this worked earlier. We'll try this one more time. Okay, now working now, we will put, no, she doesn't have first aid merit badge. It was one requirement. But it did remove it earlier. So she has her own requirement until we figure out why it's not removing it right now. It did remove them earlier. So yes, they can be removed just because of the partial on there. It might actually have to be the leader that goes in and does it, because why would I remove my own partial? So that may be what we had done in there. Okay. So then when we're entirely done with this, and we're going to back up one more spot. Okay, back to my account again. Back to my connections. And let's see here. On Emily, we want to remove me as the merit badge counselor. So I did not do the X on the front side because I am also down as her parent. So I don't want to remove my entire connection from her, but we can remove I think I can remove the connection from here. Oops. Da, 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 da. Let's bring that back up. Okay. Yeah, okay, we'll have to have Brian remove it because I don't want to remove my connection from my own kiddo. So then he can go through and remove this connection here. Now, the other area that we can do is start another merit badge on here. And we have the same rules that apply and explain that all too. So if a merit badge counselor still needed a little more information or a refresher, the information is there as well. Okay. I think that's about all I have with the merit badge counselor. Of course, when we're done, we want to end that connection. And then let the scoutmaster, the scout should be letting the scoutmaster know that they have completed their merit badge, but always good to break the connection ourselves. Any questions, comments, or concerns? And I'll give it a few minutes for some quick typing. Merit badge counselor does override to be available equal to counselor. Okay, so the question is, if merit badge counselor, if you're as a merit badge counselor, you change your settings from district to council worldwide. What happens when we update? As a council, what happens when the advancement committee updates the roster, goes through and does their monthly update on things? I believe, and I could be mistaken, I believe it defaults back to what the advancement chairs have. So again, if you decide you're going to change your level of settings, so you decide you told the advancement chair to begin with, you only wanted to teach at a troop level, and then you decide you want to teach at a district level, please at least shoot an email to your district advancement chair so they can change your level of access. Because when we do a month update later on, I believe it overrides and sets it right back to the original settings again. So you'd have to go back in and reset that. Okay, just give it another minute or two for any more questions. I'll got another part to say while you're thinking of some questions. There are a wide variety of ways for us to take care of merit badging in this day and age right now. So if we look at Scoutbook for connecting with our merit badge counselors out there in a virtual setting, and not needing the blue cards, because this is a blue card, you've already seen where they can post a chat, they can upload a photo. please remember that they could also email a document that they typed up. They could send you a text of a video, short video off the phone, iPad, whatever, of them completing the skill set. They could email the video to you. The most important parts of all of this is youth protection principles still apply, which means that if you were to call and conference call them, if you were to call that scout or they were to call you, you need to make sure that another adult is on the phone. So put it on a speakerphone with another adult, like their parent present. Conference call in the scoutmaster or assistant scoutmaster or committee member, as long as it's been worked out ahead of time. On an email, please make sure you have somebody that you are including on the email, preferably registered into scouting and in that unit, to be part of that communication. If the scout emails you without including somebody on that, then please, in your reply, include somebody. If you were to use a program like Zoom, which is what we're using right now, this Zoom, we just did a webinar last week on and recorded it and put it up on the council site. And there are a lot of webinars out there on how to use Zoom, Hangouts, things like that. Again, just remember, you do need to have another adult present for this conversation that's going on, whether it's video or text only, or if you're just doing phone. In the end, the most important thing is you have another adult present, preferably a registered person in scouting or their parent. But this is the day and age where, under our current guidelines, we have to look at the ways that we are accomplishing this. We can, again, teach them the skill set by showing us doing it on the video. Like with Zoom, we can have them send us a video, send us pictures. There are ways to accomplish this. We've just got to realize that there are the ways. However, as Nationals put out, the requirements are the requirements are the requirements. So if it says demonstrate, they need to demonstrate. If it says explain, they need to explain. If it says do, they need to do. They cannot substitute, and you cannot substitute requirements. I think that's about it. I'll give it one more minute and then thank everybody for being here. I'm sure we'll be having another webinar along these, another set of skill sets. If there's something you would like to see as a webinar, then please email the council commissioners. Contact information is on the council website on the contact page. You can also find this under the resource page for support tools, and it has the stuff there. We also have on the commissioner page under roundtables, we've been listing where these videos are. I'll remind everybody who's going to be there. I'll remind everybody too that we do have a webinar coming up on Monday, which is a town hall meeting. That'll be an opportunity with the council president, council commissioner, and the field director there to be talking about the current state of scouting and where we're going from here and answering your questions. I'd encourage all people to be there. And one, let's see. Okay, there's a very good comment that came up. If you are running something like a Zoom, Hangouts, anything like that, and you are dealing with multiple scouts, be sure that the adults are the last ones to leave. Do not leave it open for the youth. There have been instances out there with some of these Zoom accounts getting hacked or people joining, which is because of an open conversation that's going on at the time. So with that, I am going to thank everybody for joining us. Yes, I can end the meeting for all. I do see that I have a couple of the advancement chairs here, so there's been a request for a few of them to stick around afterwards for a little bit of side conversation on there. For everyone else, I'm going to thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. Have a nice night.